This video shows you how to troubleshoot an incorrect read-only field on a form. Sometimes a field on a form can be read-only when it should be writable, or writable when it should be read-only. We're going to look at some common reasons why and how to find them and fix them. Click an item here to go directly to that topic, or keep watching to cover all topics. The troubleshooting tips we'll see apply to any form. We're going to use the incidents form for our examples. In the base system, the category field is writable. But what if someone reported that the category field is read-only? The easiest thing to check is the dictionary, which defines various attributes of the field. We'll right-click the field label and choose Configure Dictionary. Sure enough, somebody made the category field read-only. We'll just clear the checkbox and update the form. Now the field is no longer read-only. But what if the dictionary was not the problem? The next thing we'll check is access controls, or ACLs. And we'll look at a little bit trickier situation. The field is writable for you, but read-only for others. Let's take a look from the perspective of another user. To do that, we'll impersonate an ITIL user. Sure enough, when we open an incident, the category field is read-only. So let's see if an ACL is making the field read-only. To do that, we'll go back to the System Administrator role. To look into security rules, we need to elevate roles to Security Admin. Next, we'll turn on the System Debugger for security rules. Now let's go back to the ITIL user role and open that incident form again. The debugger output is at the bottom of the form. It's basically a log of all the security rules that were executed in displaying this form for this user. Let's use the browser's search function to search for the word category. Aha! Here's a reference to the right attribute of the category field in the incident table and a red X indicating that the user was not allowed to write to the field. This is a link to the ACL. Let's open the ACL in a new tab. Sure enough, the right attribute of the incident.category field is set to false by the script, so the field is read-only. And the ACL is overridden for the system administrator. That's why the field is writable for you, but read-only for others. The three icons in the debugger output show the results of different security checks. The first icon is the required roles, the second is the ACL conditions, and the third is the ACL script. To make sure this ACL is the cause, let's disable it and see if the category field is writable. To do that, we'll go back to the System Administrator role and elevate roles to Security Admin. Next, we'll go back and refresh the ACL form. Now we can modify the fields. We'll disable the ACL and save the change. Now let's test the change. To do that, let's go back to the first tab and turn off debugging. Then we'll go back to the ITIL user role and go back to the incident form. And now the category field is writable. Now we know the ACL was the problem. Remember, simply disabling the ACL usually isn't the best way to fix the problem. We only did it to confirm that the ACL was the cause. You'll want to look at the ACL more closely to determine the best solution. What if the ACLs aren't the problem? There are a couple more things we can check. First, let's take a look at User Interface Policies, or UI policies. For this example, let's say you're getting reports that for new incidents, the category field is read-only. To look into the UI policies, we'll use the feature for debugging UI policies. To see the debugger output, we'll go into System Settings and open the JavaScript log. And we'll make the log a little easier to see. Now that the debugger is running, we'll go back to the incident form. Let's search for category. Here's the first match in the log. But this doesn't look like the right entry. Disabled means read-only, so if this policy sets disabled to false, it makes the field writable. Here's the second match. This could be the one we're looking for since it sets disabled to true. A few entries earlier in the log, here's the UI policy that was running. Actions for new incidents. Let's take a look at that policy. First, we'll close the JavaScript log. Then we'll turn off the debugger and go back to the incident form. Now let's look at the UI policies for the form. Here's the policy we saw in the log, Actions for new incidents. To test it, let's disable the policy, update it, and go back to the incident form. And sure enough, now the category field is writable. As with ACLs, simply disabling the UI policy usually isn't the best way to fix the problem. You'll want to look at the policy more closely to determine the best solution. Let's take a quick look at a couple more UI policy issues that can cause an incorrect read-only field. One is the order number. If two policies apply to the same field, the one with the higher number can overwrite the one with the lower number. So even if the policy with the lower number makes the field writable, the one with the higher number can make it read-only. You can use the debugger, as we saw a minute ago, to see which policies are running and in what order. In general, it's not a good practice to have two UI policies that do different things to the same field. Here's another potential UI policy issue. Let's look at this policy as an example. By default, UI policies work with reverse if false logic. In other words, if the conditions do not evaluate to true, the policy does the reverse of the actions it specifies. In this case, if the conditions are not true, the close notes field is not mandatory and is not visible. Let's look at one more cause of incorrect read-only fields: client scripts. Someone in your company may have written a script that sets the read-only value for a field incorrectly. For this example, let's say users are reporting that the category field on the incident form is read-only when it should be writable. The debugger doesn't identify the effect of client scripts on individual fields. So instead, we'll need to look at the scripts themselves. To check the scripts for this form, let's make a duplicate tab and then go to Configure Client Scripts. There are lots of scripts for this form. Let's narrow it down by filtering out inactive scripts. Right-click an inactive record and Filter Out. Now we'll search for scripts that contain the text Category. Now there's just one script to check. Let's take a look. Like we did with ACLs and UI policies, we can do a quick test by simply disabling the script. We'll save the change, switch back to the incident form on the other tab, and reload the form. And now the category field is writable. As with ACLs and UI policies, simply disabling the script usually isn't the best way to fix the problem. You'll want to look at the script more closely to determine the best solution. This concludes our video. For more information, please consult our product documentation, knowledge base, or podcast, or ask a question in the ServiceNow community.